Good morning. Welcome to Social and Emotional Learning with myself, Lakeisha Cotman, and my cohort slash classmate slash new friend, Kendall Holst. So what we're going to do instructions first, and then we're going to get right into it. Again, thank you guys for coming. My name is Lakeisha Cotman. As I stated, I am the behavior specialist currently at the Norfolk Alternative Center. And I have been in education for about 20 years or so probably about 18. And so we'll start here.
Hello everyone, my name is Patrick Worthy. I work at Madison with Ms. Cotman. Been in education for about 3 years. I am a high school English teacher.
Hi everyone, I'm Maggie Center. I work at Deep Creek Central with Kendall Holst, and I'm a 5th grade teacher going into 3rd grade, and I've been teaching for 5 years now.
I'm Leah Eiley. I am going on my 6th year of teaching. I was teaching 5th grade for 5 years, and I just accepted a position as a reading specialist.
Yay, congratulations.
So, thank you.
I'm Ann Myers, and I am a retired supervisor with Chesapeake Public Schools. Spent 18 of my years at Great Ridge High as the director of guidance there. Last 10 years as a supervisor.
And I am Sherry Lynn Whitfield, and I teach Algebra 2 at Hickory High School, and I just finished my 25th year of teaching.
All right, yeah.
I'm Julie Lobb. I teach at Deep Creek Central with Kendall as an SLT inclusion teacher. I've been teaching for 25-ish years too.
And I'm Kendall Holst.
I'll speak to you too. I am a special education teacher. I teach the learning disabled at Deep Creek Central Elementary. It's my 14th year. I wear many hats there, so this is kind of going to be a new role that I would like to go into. So we really, again, appreciate your time for coming out today. I know it's the summertime, and summertime is precious. So for coming today, you have some free appetizer coupons, so thank you. And at any point throughout, if you need to use the restroom, feel free. Grab donuts, grab orange juice, anything.
Right, and we may have others coming in, so just to let you know what's going on.
Well, today's topic, we can introduce, yay! And we have another Deep Creek Centraler, Kelly Tisdale. And Kelly, I'll just let you, I know you want to sit down though, just introduce who you are and your background.
Okay, Kelly Tisdale, I teach 2nd grade at Deep Creek Central. I've been in Chesapeake Public Schools for this will be my 7th year with them. Preschool background before that, and I've been Kendall for all of my almost 7 years at Deep Creek.
Yes, and she went through this program as well.
Okay. Thank you.
She's been my cheer on. Well, today we're going to be talking about social and emotional learning. And social and emotional learning, what is that? Why exactly do we need to know what social and emotional learning is? How is this going to help me as a teacher? These are questions you ask. How is this going to help me as a leader? How is this going to help our students? Well, when you leave here today, we hope that you have all these questions answered. So you ask, why did we choose this? We could have chosen any type of professional development. Don't you think we need to focus on academic success, our SOL scores, our formative and summative assessments?
Student improvement.
Student improvement. Aren't these all things that we need to focus on? Yeah, but we also need to focus on the whole child. The whole child is why we all, as educators, came into education. This is what we were here for the whole child. Come on in, come on in.
Real quick, give us your name and where you work and how long you've been in education.
Oh, well, good morning, everyone. I apologize for being late. Looking for parking or something on this campus. But anyway, my name is Martin Flemings. I've been in education. I'm entering my 23rd year. Started out 1 year of private school in Philadelphia, which is where I'm originally from, and came here to Norfolk Public Schools. So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And we were just talking about that we're doing social and emotional learning. And all of those pieces that I just addressed do make a successful school. It does show successful schools. But again, like I said, as educators, we came in not just for education, we came in for the children. So that's what we're gonna focus on today, the whole child. Because today, in today's society, as we know, we really need to connect with these kids. For them to succeed in life, for them to succeed in school, to be lifelong educators, we really need to connect to them and get down to their level. So that's what's led us to this social and emotional. And again, you've just heard, we all come from different areas within the Tidewater area. We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different schooling. I mean, we have reading specialists, we have elementary teachers, we have behavioral specialists, we have private day school English teachers, math teachers, supervisors, but we can all relate to doing what's best for the needs of the kids. Okay, so now what we're going to ask you to do is, our slide didn't embed, so what we'd like you to do is go to, type in your text phone, take out your cell phones, we're going to have you text a little
Who
word.
does not have a cell phone?
My mom, Miss Myers does.
Again, a difference. You
What I'd like you to text
You guys are like, oh, okay.
is Kendall Holtz 185 to 22333.
All caps?
It does not matter. Yep, type in 22333 is the phone number. And then in the message, type in Kendall Holtz 185.
And it's gonna
223
3-3.
223
Yeah.
And then what?
And then type in the text message, Kendall Holtz 185. And hit send. They'll invite you to a room. And then what I'd like you to do, once they invite you to that room, I'd like you to type in one-worded answers of what you think about when you hear the words social and emotional learning. One-worded answers. You can type in as many as you want. We're going to create a Wordle up here. Our trial, we had social and happy and emotional. Is that working?
Do I have to do anything else? I'm just reading the directions.
Oh, now just type in text, whatever your word is.
Oh, okay. So then type in your words. You just
Okay.
think of one.
And then hit send for each word and it should pop up there. Oh, we have some coming through.
Technology is great when it works.
Empathy, feelings. You can type in as many as you can think of, what comes to your mind with social and emotional learning. Bullying, connections. I joined somebody else's group. That was this is your behavior. Friends, just tell somebody else to type the word in. Expression.
I think you're in the Google Doc. I'm in somebody else's group. You've joined.
Y'all have got some good words coming through.
See that?
Compassion, confirmation. Didn't think of that one. Safety. A lot of people keep typing in confidence. That's a majority word.
Oh, so the bigger the word, the more the people are
Mhm.
typing.
Yeah.
I want to do that just to see how big it'll
So we see our common themes with social and emotional learning. We see a lot of these are actually more positive behaviors, positive aspects, which we're going to kind of lead this PD into our PBIS, our positive interventions that we have within our school systems. Every school system, no matter where you are, is trying to go towards that state goal of PBIS. So we're going to go directly into this. Lakeisha, you want to hit the next one?
Yes.
But before we do that, we know we all have a best friend. I'm sure you all are used to seeing the Principal Jerry on YouTube or Facebook and his funny commentaries. We're going to see what he has to say about social and emotional learning. Make sure we take notes on this because this is something that you probably want to take back to your school.
Social skills books that they can share with kids when they're struggling with certain emotions or certain situations. Here's a good example of one. This is called When My Parents Taught How to Be Friends. So kids whose parents are arguing, they can read through this and know that people are have the same kind of feelings. This one's called But It's Not My Fault. or a child who never admits anything that they've done. I've written some social skills books for educators that will help them to be able to work through some of the struggles and feelings that they're having. Here's a good one. This is called When You Are Late for Lunch, It Makes Me Want to Punch You. This will be great for cafeteria managers. They can read through and read about Myrtle, who always wants to punch teacher when they're late, how she works through those feelings. Here's another good one. This is called They Playing Without Me. You see you have a team here, they're kind of bully girls, they're playing without her. So you can read through this and see how she does that when she's on team and playing with her. Here's a great one for all teachers. It's called Why You Always Gotta Be Parking in My Spot.
Yes.
Those teachers that get frustrated and angry all the time because someone's parking in their spots, they can read through this and get their feelings out. And here's a real good one everybody will love. The copier's jammed. You can read this when you get frustrated with that teacher who keeps jamming the copier. I hope she'll give you some social skills group books for teachers.
So you can get those social skills groups, those books as, well, we know that those are not things that we're really gonna go by, but he does always add a lot of funny commentary to our hectic life as teachers, because we do know that we are busy, and sometimes a lot of these things can go right under the rug.
And
So-
the stuff he says is so true. Like, teachers just get upset about parking spots. Like, they're actually true
I can
emotions.
relate. This morning.
Like, I mean, but, you know, again, we laugh and he makes fun, but again, it's things that actually go on. Like, it's the social, emotional connection that, you know, but as adults and teachers, we have the intelligence and the discipline not to fly off the handle or to respond appropriately most of the time. So we have that control. And then a lot of the times, the kids do not, which is what we'll talk about.
And I know you've all heard the next quote, that, that they won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And this is true when making connections and building relationships with your students, with your colleagues, with your friends, with your significant other. Again, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So we really need to make sure we focus in on this. Research now shows us that social and emotional learning improves confidence. These are our words that we saw up there. Empathy, relationships with peers, relationships with adults, relationships within the workplace. And environments like this where students feel that compassion and that empathy is where they want to aspire to do more for you. They're going to aspire to do the best that they can do, and which in turn transitions into that school improvement that we want. So here we're focusing on the whole child, not just the academics part
And
of
it goes to, I know you guys, the Maslow, you know, the hierarchy of needs. They need to feel like they're accepted. They need to feel like they're loved and they're cared for, and in order to learn, in order to get to the next step, in order to get to the next level. And if they don't have that, then they most of the time shut down. You know, if it's from you, sometimes it needs to be from you because they don't get it from home. So it's important for us to kind of assume when we walk into a classroom that they're not getting it, and we need to make sure that each and every child in our class feels wanted in that classroom, feels welcome in that classroom.
Which leads us into our 5 love languages. Today we're going to be focusing on love languages. And we all know that love languages, I don't know if anyone's ever read the book. They have the children. I read the adult one when I was getting married. I just recently found out about the children. But we all respond to others in specific ways. It may be words of affirmation. It may be receiving gifts, physical touch. These are all things that we need to think about when we are responding and interacting with our students daily. So what we're going to do right now is we'd like to find out what your specific love language is. In front of you, you have a box of pencils or markers, whatever you'd like. And in your packet in front of you, you have a multitude of different quizzes. I have the love languages quiz for children. They're in order. The next one would be for teens. The next one would be for singles. Or the next one would be for couples. I'd like you to choose whichever one relates to you the most. And we're gonna give you about 8 minutes to complete this love language quiz. You'll read it, you circle the ones that specifically relate to how you would want someone to respond to you, and then you're gonna add up and tally up which letter you have the most of. And that's gonna tell us what your love language is, what you respond to the most. So we're gonna go ahead and set that timer.
And you need to know what your love language is, because you need to know, because communication and love and everything is a two-way street. So you need to know where you're coming from in order to know how you're gonna respond to that, to another person, the child, husband, the significant other, whatever. And then it'll help you guide what you need to do to make sure that you're communicating what you want to communicate.
So I can choose anyone?
Any one of those quizzes, if you wanna choose the
Although
children
I'm
one.
married, it says for couples, I could choose.
Yes,
another one.
yes, that would be your
Okay.
married one with couples, yes. It's up to you, whichever's gonna choose, work
Okay.
best for you.
Is it, is this the numbers? Is it just 2 choices or?
Yes,
Yes.
it's 2 for each one,
Okay.
and you'll circle the one that relates most to you in each section, yeah? And then add them up at the end. people are finishing up, I see faces like, huh, that is what I am. A little 2 minutes left. Once you're finished, just put your pen down, just so we know who's ready to move on.
Look up when you're done.
And the other day, so I'm looking for faces, like, okay.
That's right. Okay, so it looks like everyone's finished. By looking at this, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you think that what your quiz answer is your love language, which you respond to. Thumbs up if yeah, or thumbs down if you're not so sure. I took it, I had my husband take it, and I had my 8-year-old take it. And I could see exactly which way I needed to go in directing and speaking with each of them. So that's why we put all these quizzes in here, because you could do this at the beginning of the school year, first day of school. You could give out these to your students, so you know exactly how you're gonna hone in and focus in on each specific student at the beginning of the school year and carry on. You could also take this to your department. Because we know as adults, we have to learn to be able to get along and work together as a collaborative unit, just like as we do within the classroom as a collaborative unit. What we'd like you to do now is you have your specific love language. You want to click the next slide? You
Still timing, guys. We have 15 more seconds. You can do it.
Your specific love language is listed up here on this board, and it's by color. If you were acts of service, receiving gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch, or quality time. What I'd like you to do right now is take a marker from your PD box, and I'd like you to head to the triangle that correlates to what your love language is. I have the colors that match the colors up there, but they also as well have on, I have more markers down here, yeah. But they also have the words on them. I'd like you to go ahead and break out right now into your groups, and we'll explain what we're going to do next to the triangles and papers around the room. I have spelling markers.
And if you have two that were the same, just pick one.
Smelling markers. Smelling marker. Smelling markers. Okay. All right. So it looks like we have. You can go to your real love language. We have 3 specific love languages right now. We have words of affirmation, positive praise. We have acts of service, doing things for people and doing things for others. And we also have the quality time. What we'd like you to do right now is, it probably won't be 10 minutes because we have a smaller group
Right.
than we were expected. We'd like you now to brainstorm as a unit to think about what exactly those characteristics are of words of affirmation. We don't want strategies of how to connect with those students. We don't want interventions right now. We just want you to jot down what it actually means. What does words of affirmation mean? What does acts of service mean? And what does quality time mean? In your brains as a unit, go ahead and jot down. Yes.
So are we talking about, like, we did it as a couple, like, or are we doing it like our husband with our?
It does not matter.
Doesn't matter.
This is just a
Overall.
brainstorm
Mhm.
right now, what you think words of affirmation means, acts of service, or quality time, because it's gonna intermingle, whether or not it's students or your significant other. It's
And it-
gonna be the same thing.
And it
Around
can be like characteristics, how do you see it, what does it look like, kind of thing. So, describing it also includes what it looks like to you, what the characteristics are, those kind of things.
Yeah, we can go ahead, if you'd like to put interventions or strategies in, feel free.
You just want us to basically like explain it.
Explain
Like,
it.
like for instance, with mine, basically, like people, like, I remember we had this conversation, people think acts of service, I'm just lazy and I want a maid. It's not even that,
It's
like,
not that,
it's
yeah.
the fact of the matter is that, like, if someone takes time out of their day to
That's
like make
what we
my
want
life
you.
easier, and also if I do something, it's not also just me receiving, if I'm taking time out of my way to do something for you, that in itself is like just me speaking how much I care about you. Cause I could
Exactly.
like sit down and play video games.
Exactly, and you can write those examples
Yeah, write
down.
that- yeah.
And write those examples down, you're exactly right.
Yeah, I can be doing
And-
a million things on earth, but like.
And we're gonna talk about it, so you don't have to like write the whole paragraph. out,
Yeah,
but,
just jot a
bullet
few
or,
things down, just down so we can see where you were headed, because we are gonna discuss this as a group.
Okay, so
I
stuff
don't
like
see
this.
it in text, it's like, all right, you could
You
use
say
a
that
million
from
different
me,
things, we'd rather be less than
Okay.
I'm just
I mean, I
sorry.
could do it.
Okay, yeah, all right. Acts of service doesn't mean like I'm lazy.
But I
I'm
think
lazy.
also with quality time is like just being, for me, like with my significant other, like if we go to, we play kickball together, to me, that's us, that's playing together, and that's our quality time. So for me, it's more just spending that time together.
No matter what you're doing.
Yeah, no matter what you're
The
doing.
thing that hit me, you tapped right into, I was going to say playing on the playground. Getting in there with doing something.
Okay, so,
I know, your kids are really.
I would say not just alone,
Also, just if someone just knows if I'm busy, to just be like, oh, let me eat something.
Together with others.
Ease your burden a little bit.
There are times I do want to play video games.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that goes into.
And it just speaks highly, like, to me, you have to say this to people, like, with words of affirmation, they need this, because they
Building
just
the
want to
child up when they are in front of someone, using quality time to give a compliment to that child, so they feel special.
Okay. Wouldn't that go more in words if you're giving compliments?
Well, but it's quality time, that,
So
I
you
think
could say
that,
one conference
So I take the energy from me and put it on you.
Mhm.
/
I'll
conversation.
spend more time on you than I spend time on you.
yes.
I want to play Madden, but I'm gonna take the time out.
To make a piece
Well,
during that conference.
if that helps
Like,
you
hey, I
with
see you're busy, let me.
how you're wanting to see this.
It could even be like,
If I,
instead of
especially
using
if I
words,
make
but
food,
touch their love language. So you're using your love
My
language
version.
to touch the
I
child.
can do it, I can do everything.
So, I told you, I read this book, but it's been years ago. So this is what I think is interesting, that my husband definitely looks active service, but I know he loves me because he will spend hours hours in the middle of the night if my car is making a noise, and fix it for me, fixes everything.
I guess even more like a teacher who's like spending quality time like.
But I think I've changed it, having to live with
not just
him,
being a
because he
teacher,
is
not
not
just
gonna
being
tell me
like the one
the
who's
fluffy,
sitting asking the kids,
nice
like, so how do you
study's
think we
just
could
not
solve
working.
this?
He's like, you can do that, and it's, I think over here, it's like, well, okay, that's my social. And then I
Oh,
feel like
has
I've
he always
changed
been like
her.
that, or has he changed over time?
No, he
So,
is
showing
always,
them that
always, and I think I have adapted, I've had to tell my girls, you know, like, it doesn't.
I don't know how to write that.
Just like show their,
Do
Right.
this for you, that's
yeah,
how
you can show their.
Do you think your students could change from the
Show,
beginning of
like,
the year to the
their-
end
Oh,
of the year as
absolutely.
well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly, you've made a good connection there, and that's how, you're gonna have to change also throughout the year, how you respond to these students.
And also just on there,
Like, kinda like you said
doing
with
something
this,
for dad,
but
like
you're
just being
active.
like, you
Yeah.
know, instead of me being like, what can dad
Show
do
them
for
that
me?
you
Sometimes being like, hey dad, I know you're not gonna tell me thank you and good job and good job sport.
Because my girls are completely different. My daughter Lauren is all about the touch, and she likes to snuggle. Shannon, don't touch her. She's a prickly pine cone. But she
It needs to go
likes
to
gifts.
a lot of times
She
you
likes
get the really
gifts,
good
and, you know, I think,
quality time. You give the really bad kids
My
quality
daughter's
time.
name is Hannah.
Yeah.
In fact, her birthday is Sunday. Started to celebrate
Kinda like, oh, well, they're not
13.
being
Oh, my
nasty.
daughter's 13. My Hannah's
Wow.
13 too.
Oh my
How do
God.
we reach them?
I was at a party when you read this book, her whole like, you
Yeah,
know,
the one
text
that-
like,
yes,
all
it
that
is.
afterwards,
It
like,
is.
you know, it was
Get
very
that.
nice.
I think years ago when I first read this, I was really kind of in between, and now after, you
But that going into like not just
developing,
favorites.
I think I've changed more,
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
responds more.
Okay, about one more minute.
You have,
I'll,
You could write, like, make
He's been working outside, I'll, go make you something, or I'll go bring you a big glass of water because you've been doing yard work or something.
like
He
that.
responds more to that, and I think I sort of
My handwriting is terrible.
Yeah, my children are young, so,
Okay.
I think time is more important now, so getting over the time with parents now. And, you know, my son, you know, he's like saying, let me.
Okay, about 30 more seconds.
It's like words, like that's natural, everyone has words.
Yeah.
Like you can sit around and just tell somebody you're special, or you're special, you're awesome.
But that is, it is time that is
Yeah, you're
spent
awesome. We
instead
all
of us being
super, you can sit there and just
Yeah.
hype people up to like,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
I think that is
awesome,
time
you're
well
yes,
spent.
you come from, like, the time
What
goes
about
by.
self-awareness of the teacher? Like, you might be
Yeah,
having
I-
quality
There's some
time.
I go for
conversations,
that.
but I don't want to pause it.
You could be in a
Because I gotta
and
get to the
it
motivated.
take it out, even though you're having like, your writing reading.
Exactly.
I mean, even, you know, what we do
I think
with alternative
self-awareness
side.
of the teacher is
So-
something that should play.
Yeah, just well, students in general,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't, you know, for real, like kids.
And even
That's
just
why
from, like,
the act of service, do something.
tactical.
No, you're supposed to do everything else.
to either get
That's
their
just a-
attention
Yeah.
or to get them
Yeah,
quiet.
Okay, finish up your last
Or
words.
if it's more of a positive.
Can people hear me? Clap once.
You know.
To do everything.
Clap twice.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I heard
To get a kid.
excellent discussions.
Good job.
Excellent discussions, and I'd like to, we're gonna talk about the characteristics of love languages. What we'd like you to do right now is, you are welcome to stay within your group, because we're gonna be discussing the characteristics. If you'd like to just pull a chair up at your group, or if you'd like to sit with your group here, it's up
Yeah.
to you, but I think you would like to sit with your group for this. So to refer back to, your sheets as well, and then you can,
I mean, if you want, I know you like to stand, so, I mean, that's fine too.
get your steps.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
We're gonna talk
Water,
about
huh?
the characteristics.
No,
Now,
no.
we didn't have physical touch or receiving gifts, but this is something we can do and together as a team.
Right.
But first, we're gonna start with our words of affirmation. Lakeisha?
So with words of affirmation, I want, we just look up here. You have compliments and casual words, kind words. They're kind of self-explanatory for most. But if you guys look at your list and then look at this list and then tell us, let's kind of talk through if you kind of hit on those things and where you were thinking or where you were going and what your list kind of looks like.
Well, one of the things that we both said is that we both realized that we don't, like, this isn't just our love language, this tends to be what we do, how we express even what we like to receive. We tend to give a lot of words of encouragement in our classroom. Like we were saying things like, I teach second grade, and so sometimes with little girls, like, they need that kind of that self-esteem boost. So it's, you know, my girls are coming in, I'll tend to say things like, oh my gosh, I love your shoes, those are so cute, or oh look, we have the same shirts on today, or wow, you did such a good job on that. And so we realized that we actually tend to do that a lot. We don't just like receiving.
Yes.
And it goes back to the point of knowing what your love language is, because that's why. Your love language is actually, I don't know, I guess thumbs up if you feel like you tend to do this and also receive to show your love. So that's why we need to know what ours is, because it's how we respond to people. And then again, everybody's different. So, you know, he may not be receiving that the same way as you're giving it. So, perfect point to why we need to understand each other's love language. All right, sorry.
No, that's what and it was interesting because we both said that we were this, but then we were tied on the next two as well. So it was very interesting how closely we were related. And I see the same types of words that we have up here.
Yeah.
Terrific, good job, you make me happy. I recognize you, I like that. Those are all things that we have up here that we can hear us saying right now in the classroom. Thank you, ladies.
So the most important thing is that words are important for those who are words of affirmation.
Excellent.
All right, acts of service.
You want to take this? Oh.
So acts of service, you seek to please. So you want pretty much approval from others. So I want, not necessarily approval, I take that back. Not necessarily you want approval, but you want to make them feel good. You want to make them feel as if they're doing something pleasant to gain your approval, kind of thing. So what do you have?
Well, we have, I'm gonna just shout the phrases out. Well, start with my colleague here, doing things for someone else based on their needs, not your own. So we started thinking about, you know, why are we in this active service? Why we do what we do. Then we got into, okay, we do what we do, but the other part is it's a sacrifice on our part. So we can do for you, and we're putting aside what we want to do just so we can help you. And we came up with some phrases, Mr. Worthy, I'm not lazy, and I want to make, you already shared that. For me, going out of my way when I don't have to. You know, I could be doing this, I could be doing something else, because I got a million other things to do. And I'm shifting it from me to you. And in education now and dealing, you know, with the students of today, sometimes you got to be careful with this because they want you to do everything. And it's like, okay, I'm doing this in hopes that they would develop so that they can be on their own. So then I find myself shifting to the words of affirmation to keep them motivated in hopes that they can do on their own. But then you got some that'll work for and some will just be on cruise control. Okay, I'm waiting for you to do the next thing for me so you can move me along. So
Yeah,
that's the tug of war we got.
We came up with the notion that like maybe like, you know, with kids, like, you know, they may not, you know, they might struggle with this love language the most because I feel like kids feel like you're supposed to like, you know, they're entitled, you're supposed to do everything for them, like, you know. As opposed to them coming to acts of service, them coming to you, being like, what's my homework? No, 9 times out of 10, you're coming to them like, here's the homework. You know?
Okay. So you guys feel like acts that your love languages can be a hindrance to the students?
It's more it's a challenge. We look at it as a challenge because we want our students to be independent, but the students tend to be dependent, and they won't move along unless they're getting this active service.
If their love language is main words of affirmation.
Exactly.
All of this stuff went on behind the scene, but if I didn't say like, you're awesome, you're terrific, good job, I believe in you, you're super duper, like if I don't hit you with like 5 minutes of positive encouragement, then it, you know, then technically in a child's mind it negates all the work I did behind the scenes.
Which also helps explain why we need to understand our love language to move.
Yeah, and I think of, like this year, I particularly struggled with this one. I just had overwhelmingly my group of kids, just laziness, sitting there for 20 minutes because I don't have a pencil, you know. So don't want to do everything for them, but you know, then I have kids who
they're trying and they just can't maybe write their homework down off the board quickly or neatly enough, and here, let me help you with that, we'll do that, but they're trying, you know, so it is a challenge to find the balance of helping them and not, you know, coddling
Being
them.
a no, yeah.
And then just deeper philosophical things, like, I'm not Google, so like, if I can't answer your question like right away, then I'm not servicing you, you don't like me, 'cause.
And there's a level of frustration too, man. I mean, just like with the pencil. I mean, okay, the pencil's right there, what I gotta tell you to pick it up? Or even, okay, I brought you donuts on Tuesday, Thursday you didn't eat, and you said, okay, what were you having for breakfast today? I'm like, huh? That was just a one, so that's the struggle.
Yeah.
And Julie made a good suggestion, or she made a good connection that I kind of brought forth. She said that when she was, you know, she related it to her marriage. And when she first came into the marriage, she was more of a quality time love language. But as she was married over a period of time, her husband showed his love by acts of service. So her love language changed throughout the years. And I made the connection, can our students' love language change throughout the year?
Yes.
Yeah, and how we said we could give this quiz at the beginning of the year, you could also give it at the middle of the year to see if you're continuing down that same track, and at the end of the year. So that was a connection that I made, so thank you, Jules.
All right, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Quality time. So quality time is pretty much just giving undivided attention. And I heard some things over here, but I want to see if you all are going to share it before I share it. So just, you know, spending time, and that may look different for different people, right? I know we were over here talking, you guys were talking about how does that look. And I think Ms. Myers had a different opinion or had some input that you guys was like, oh, okay, you know, so it looks different.
Well, in looking different, I think what the situation was, what I had said, Leah had indicated that that possibly would be a word of affirmation. But as we look at time, time is affirmation.
That's right.
Whatever we do with time, whether it's touching someone's hand like that, and no one, I don't think, went to the touch area, but that is spending time. That little rub on the arm is time. That saying you did a good job, that is affirmation, but that is time also, and that's what I was putting out. And I think maybe it was misconstrued, but I'm still there on that page.
I got you.
Well, I think that kind of goes into our one-on-one, where you have a conference with your student, and then you can use those words or to touch all the children on their love language with that one-on-one time. But being in the classroom, we talked about it's hard to do just one-on-one with students. So we talked about not just alone time, that one-on-one, but time together with others, like playing in a kickball game with your students. Your students seeing that you're actively involved with them shows that you really care about them. And I think that's something that we were really hitting on. And then we also talked about making connections with all students, because a lot of times we see ourselves spending more times with our difficult students. What about those students who are just sitting there quietly? If you don't make that connection with them, they might be the ones that have the most going on at home. So it's making sure you make the connection with all your students, and then going back into finding out what their true love language is. Smile and self-awareness. You might be having quality time, but if you're having a bad day, that quality time might come off negative to your students, and that would show them, well, yeah, they're spending time with me, but I get treated like this at home. Why trust the teacher? So really being self-aware of yourself when you're having that one-on-one time or that whole group time with your students.
So when we think about quality time, it doesn't necessarily have to be a lengthy amount of time, is what I'm hearing. And then making those, just time enough to make connections. It could be those 30 seconds where you say, what's going on today? And, you know, just a whisper. They don't have to move out their seat, you know, those kinds of things. And then you make that connection, and then you guys develop a relationship of some sort, and you're able to notice things that are going on just when they walk in. You're different. Something's going on. And so, which will help that, again, show that you care about that student and you want to know what's going on, and they will want to do whatever it is that you need them to do for the
And
most
this
part.
specific love language, I think about, Kelly Tisdale shared on Facebook the other day, I think it was yesterday, the day before, with social and emotional learning. A check-in, check-out, selecting 10 students that you know are the students that really need that quality time, and setting forth 10 minutes in the morning to check in with them, set the goals for the day, allow them to come back at the end of the day, see if they met those goals. Just to have that quality time, that one-on-one support. And then I also think about, I know we've all seen the video with the handshakes. The teacher outside the classroom has specific handshakes with the students. Those two are showing that quality time, showing that they're really vested in each student to be able to push them to be their best. So,
And another point was made, Ms. Myers made, is that they all, some kind of way, quality time does incorporate a lot of the other love languages. Quality time is how you learn their love languages, how you learn someone's love language. And again, as Kendall also said, is that it can change. You know, after you give them that quality time and they feel careful and they feel, you know, like you're there and they feel loved and they feel like, okay, I can get this done, and they're confident. It may just be a physical touch. You may just walk past and just tap them on the shoulder to let them know to get back. But it's because you put in that quality time to give them their words of affirmation and to service them.
which leads us to the physical touch. We know we could do high fives, dabs, nooks, just a wink, even though that's a visual, but it's still a connection that you're making with them. It might not be physical. Shoulder taps, hand holding down the hallway. I know that doesn't work in high school.
Well, but just not the teacher.
Just not the teacher. But in elementary school, having that student at the front holding their hand down the hallway, that's an affirmation speaking their specific love languages. Side hugs, any of those types of physicals.
True story. I just was telling, what's your name? Maggie, that in the summer program that we're both working in, the students, I told them I wasn't going to be there. And they was like, no, you can't go. And the first thing they do is like this, elementary school. And I'm like, I'm not used to elementary. I teach middle and high. Like, they never, well, actually, the middle schoolers also want hugs too. But, you know, it's that touch. And they want to, like, you think, you know, okay, you're walking with me. They're like, okay. No, that's not why you're walking with me. Not because, you know, you're good. You've done something. Like, come on. They be like, well, can I? And then another one.
But
Can
they
I
want
walk
that
with you too?
positive praise.
So it's, you know, again, it goes back to the love language, age differences, and understanding what it is, where you are, and who they are.
Exactly. And brings us to the receiving gifts, and we know what that means. We think of Santa Claus, think about your children. How do they behave when they know Christmas is around the corner? It's a lot different than it is in the summertime, right? At least it is for mine. So receiving those gifts, maybe special notes, special treats, giving them their favorite snack, or creating a sticker chart for tangible items. And it doesn't have to be tangible, but a lot of students do like that tangible. But if it's not tangible, that receiving gifts brings us back to those words of affirmation, those acts of kindness, the quality, the touch, all of those are the intangible. So,
And we kind of incorporate, and again, okay, this may be going a little into the presentation, but think about how you can incorporate all of these to reach a vast amount of students. What's next? And again, it goes into PBIS. It goes into what we can do as teachers to meet the needs of our students, socially and emotionally. So
we can enhance that classroom behavior by focusing in and honing in on these love languages. We can continue to give them that explicit instruction and practice by using these love languages to show them the routine and empathy. That was my big word this year for my 5th graders, empathy. Students don't know that nowadays. It's a very difficult concept to teach, but if we look at these love languages, we can really bring that in and reach them. There were some students this year, I felt like, yeah, I did reach them, and they're gonna go next year off to middle school, and they're gonna be kind, like empathy. We've got to teach that. We've got to model that for them to be able to learn that. What we'd like to do before we continue is if you'd like to head back to your seats. and you can sit with the table, like.
Physical touch.
And like I said, this brings us to PBIS. And who does not know what PBIS stands for?
Oh, I don't know. No, I'm messing.
It stands for Positive Behavioral Intervention and Supports. So it's taking that negativity out of how we not per se discipline, but teach our students. So these are our state's initiatives is incorporating PBIS. This is also Chesapeake Public Schools, one of their initiatives is incorporating. It probably is in Norfolk as well. So we've given you a sheet, a reference sheet within your packet that you can go to if you would like any ideas or suggestions with PBIS. PBIS World is an excellent resource to use. You're able to pull up different interventions, type in things that you see with behaviors. They'll give you some ideas, suggestions. It's an excellent resource to have.
I use it almost every day.
And like we said, we have to
Model, teach, and reinforce.
everything. Model, teach, and reinforce. Go ahead, Keisha.
All right, so when we look at students, PBIS actually separates students into tiers. Some of us may see, there's a triangle with the red, green, and I did that backwards. Green, yellow, and red. That correlates to tier 1, 2, and 3. We're just going to talk about, for the most part, tier 1 students, and this is where all of the students are receiving the services. So all of the students receive, it's kind of like the standardized practice. Tier 2, they need a little more to kind of like push them into the green or the tier 1, but they need a little more support. Tier 3 are your high intensity or high frequency behaviors / academic concerns that, okay. And honestly, these are the students that you need a social worker, you need the psychologist sometimes, like they really need to sit down and we really need to talk about this student because something is going on. And don't forget the grade. So, but we're going to talk about what we give all of our students, all of our staffs in all settings, just pretty much a generalized, standardized types of strategies.
And throughout the rest of the year, wink, wink, like you're with us throughout the rest of the year, the ongoing professional development this year will be PBIS.
Yes.
So with each professional development, we would focus more on tier 2 at the next one, and then